Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to KB Spot. I am here today with Miss Brandie Nikole, a fellow Texan. So I want to welcome her to my place and just share a little information about her, get to know her as a writer, as a woman, as a mom, living in today's society, raising children, being creative, and making it happen. So, hello, Miss Brandie Nikole.
Hello.
How are you?
I am great. How are you?
Fine. So, for everybody who can't see, and if you're just listening to this on the podcast, she is glowing. That was the very first thing I noticed was the skin. And I was like,
Thank
oh
you.
my God, I'm out here looking like somebody's grandma.
No, you're not.
And she is glowing.
Thank you.
So we're gonna jump right in.
Okay.
Tell me how you got into writing. What was the catalyst for that?
So, I'm a reader first. Before I became a writer, I love to read, like read. Like I can go through books in 1 week.
Yeah.
So, after reading so many urban novels, and no shade to nobody,
Yeah.
some of the people that I love to read, they books started sounding the same with different characters. Like, the same kind of plots, the same kind of storylines, all the same thing, all kind of people. So my husband loves to write. So I was like, babe, write me a book. And he was like, I'll start it and you finish it. So
I love that.
He wrote like a couple chapters and then he was like, I'm done. So my first book, His Favorite Girl, the first like 3 chapters are him. I just changed his style because his writing style is totally different from mine.
Yeah.
So I just changed it to fit my style and then I added to it. And that's where my first book came from.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. A mini collaboration.
Yes.
And he forced your hand.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. I love that. He was like, okay, I got it. But you're going to finish it. I love that.
Yes.
I love that.
That's his way. I'll start it and you'll finish. And that's his way of kind of like pushing me to do what I really want to do, but that's his way of motivating me.
Yeah. And it's good to have a partner who is supportive in that way too. Because I think if you don't have that, I mean, I'm single for now. But I would hope that eventually I would find a partner who's supportive that way too. Because if they're not, I mean, I think that would just drain your creative energies.
Oh yeah.
If you don't have that kind of support there. So I'm guessing like he's your beta reader at sometimes when you have new novels coming out.
He is. Well, no, after the first one, I don't even think he read the books. He says that he did, but he likes to listen. So he likes to do audio books. So I have to kind of like read them because he drives trucks so that he can hear them as he drives.
Yeah.
So his favorite girl, he said he read, but the Fighting for Her Heart and the Final Say, I don't believe that he read yet. He said he did, but I don't believe he did. My beta reader is my mother.
Yeah.
She loves my books, and she's like me. She's a reader. She can clear a book in a day.
Yeah.
And she loves what's it called, historical romance. But she's obsessed with my books, and I think it's more because I'm her daughter. But I can send her something and throw something at her, and she'll be like, no, don't do it this way. Nah, do it that way. And she always challenges me. So, yeah, between her and him, now I use him as my muse. So.
Oh, I love it. One of the best tips I got, because I like audiobooks myself.
Okay.
And I said, there were a lot of books that I want to read, but I just don't have the capacity to do it. Like I just don't have enough time in the day. So because I was working my job and started my business, Valerie of Brown Sugar Reads said, Alexa can read it to you. And I was like, really? What? Yes. Open Alexa, hit the play button and pull up your book and she'll read it to you. Now you won't get the full audible experience, but it works. And I tell you, I'm reading books now. Yes. I was like, Val, thank you so much, because that was a game changer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a game changer, because now I don't have to I can't read this book. I don't have time because work and kid, just whatever. Yeah, she put me on to that, and I was like, yeah. So
I don't think
tell your honey.
I don't think I
Yeah.
could get into audio. My internet is breaking up. Sorry, because
Okay.
it just decided it wanted to storm. Sorry. So
Just like
I
they
don't think
last week, yeah.
I can get into audiobooks because with me personally, because I like to live in my books and get
Yeah.
lost in them. And if I hear that voice and it doesn't sound like the voice in my head, then I won't
Yeah.
receive it the same.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of live in my characters when I'm reading, even when it's somebody else's book, because I get so caught up in that world. I
Yeah.
forget everything around me. That kind of changed when I had kids. Now I do it like late at night when they sleep. But yeah, I have to. I live in my books,
Do you
so
like paper or Kindle? Like a paperback hard?
I love my Kindle. I buy the books. Especially when I go to events, I like to go to like book events, so
Yeah.
I can get the authors to sign them. I don't know why.
Hmm.
I just like signatures.
Yeah.
So I have like 4 bookshelves full of books, but I read off my Kindle. I'd rather buy it off my Kindle. Easy
Me too.
access too, because I can put it on my phone, and if I'm stuck in traffic, I can read. Or if I'm waiting
Yeah.
in the line to pick the kids up, I can read. So
Yeah.
yeah.
And I'm when I purchased a paperback is because I've already read it on Kindle and I just
Mhm.
really loved it. And I've read it more than 2 or 3 times. And I was like, you know what, let me go and get the paperback. And then I added to my little shelf, messy shelf over there.
Yeah.
And so that usually is the point where I buy a paperback because I just
Yeah.
like it's a book that I just have to have. And I
I have
probably
to
gave
have.
it 5 stars as a review.
Mhm.
I'm like, yeah, let
Yeah.
me go and support them with that.
I wasn't big on reviews until I started writing and
Yeah,
noticing how how necessary they are.
yeah,
At first, I was just like, okay, I'm done with the book. I liked it, but who cares if I liked it? But now I make sure that I leave a review. Unless it's a bad review, I just leave the
yeah,
stars. I try not to leave bad reviews.
yeah. I leave. This
If
is,
it's
you
got to
know
be
what?
real terrible for me to be like, come on, what you were doing?
Yeah. And I kind of got into the blogging part of it in this whole thing because I left a review. Even my negative reviews are constructive. Like
Oh
I'm not
yeah,
just gonna say, "Oh, that was trash," because that's not
yeah,
constructive. I mean,
yeah. That's
and I'm not,
constructive. Yeah.
I don't. That's your personal stuff. You are gifting it to us. I'm not a dream
Oh
killer. I
yeah.
don't want to kill. Because some people take that to heart. It has nothing to do with you. It just didn't work for that person. So I'm always constructive. But
Yeah.
I left a constructive review under an author's interracial romance. And from that point on, I was like, well, if you need a proofreader, hit me up. And I left my email address there. And so
Nice.
she DM'd me. Sent me an email and we started working together from that point. And that was like 7, 8 years ago.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yes. And then my sisters were always asking, what are you reading? What are you reading? And that's how I started KayBee's Bookshelf because they were getting on my damn nerves, asking what I was reading.
Right.
And yeah, so and I just fell in love with you guys. I mean, just you authors are like rock stars.
Oh,
I can't get enough. And we've worked together before, like with the little promotion and stuff.
we did. Yes, we
And
did. I
I was
still
like,
use that promotion
"Dude,
photo you gave. I do. I loved it. I tried to mimic it, and I was like, I can't mimic that.
girl, call me. Just call me." And that's how this whole holiday series started because I wanted to start promoting again and just showing appreciation to what for what you guys bring to the table for us. Some of us, I'm an introvert. I know people don't really believe it, but I'm an introvert. I'm a loner, and so reading for me just allows me to do go wherever I want to go,
Yes.
escape
Yes.
where when I need to. And I'm like, okay, this is how the holiday series came about because I want to show a little bit of appreciation beyond just purchasing the paperbacks. But
Right.
this is a non-monetary way
It's
to
an
support someone.
amazing way, and I'm
Oh, thank
grateful.
you,
Thank you. I
thank you,
thank you
thank you.
for making me a part of it. I'm appreciative.
Oh yeah, you were good. You were on my list. I had a list of 20 people that I knew I was going to reach out to. I knew about 5 of them were definitely going to say yes. And I had a question mark by your name. I was like, I don't know if she's gonna say yes.
Yes, baby.
But then once you told me you were in Texas, I was like, oh no, I got her. She's coming. Let me just check her off. She's on
Let
the
me just
show.
check out. She's a yes. She's
Yeah.
a definite yes.
Yeah. Are any of your kids, do they have the writing bug too or no?
My oldest, so I
Mhm.
have 3 babies. I have
Yeah.
a 16-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 4-year-old.
Oh,
Yeah, mommy was done, daddy was not. So
I see that. Okay.
but my 16-year-old is a writer, and he
Nice.
has like when he gets on punishment, he
Mm,
writes. I'm trying to
mm-hmm.
get him to publish, but he keeps saying, he keeps fighting
He's
me. But he has
yeah.
a book, literally a book on his walls in his room from, I think he was on punishment like 40 days or something like that. And
Yeah.
he wrote a page every day, like a
Right.
journal. And I said, babe, let me publish this. And he was like, no, I don't want it to publish. But I'm
'Cause,
gonna get him.
yeah.
I'm breaking him down. When he goes
Yeah.
off to college, I'm gonna take him off the wall and publish him myself.
It's in your house.
Yes,
So make
yes,
it happen. That's
yes,
like my son does that too. Like when he's feeling his most emotional or uh, upset or whatever, then I know I see that spiral notebook and he's going to write something. And I want him to
yes.
publish his too. He's like, woman, this is not for the world to see yet. And I was like, okay, well, I heard yet in there. So I'm going to keep
Oh
trying.
yeah, that's it. Yet don't mean no.
Yeah.
So
And don't be calling me woman. So,
we already
um,
established he's the boss. So
he thinks he is. I mean, just because you're taller than me means nothing. And, I'm like, whatever, boy. Um, so when you got to writing and you were publishing your first book, did you go indie or were you under someone?
I'm indie with all of my books. So it's completely me. And I thought about seeking a publisher, but when I won't say their name. So when I
Yeah.
tried to do another, because I'm not anti-white, but I am super
Yeah.
pro-black.
Mm-hmm.
So if I see, especially a black woman,
Mm-hmm.
that's a publisher, then I kind of say, okay, can we work together? And I did
Yeah.
find one, and then what she told me I didn't like. So I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I'm gonna figure out how to do it myself. She was like,
Yeah.
well, it'll be your work, but if I feel like it needs to be changed completely, I'm gonna change your book to fit the style of my publishing company. I was like, oh
Right.
no, you're not.
Yeah.
So I decided to do it on my own. I didn't know where to start. I
Mm-hmm.
knew the writing part was the easy part, but
Yeah.
finding the editor, finding the cover, um, going through all the steps to put it on Amazon and then deciding
Yeah.
if it's Amazon that I want to do, that was the hard part. Trying to
Yeah.
figure out a price. I'm like, I don't want to be too high, but then you don't want to devalue yourself. So
Right.
yeah, that part was the
Yeah.
hard. The right part was the easy part.
Yeah.
All that other
I,
stuff was the hard part.
I find that when I'm talking to writers too, that some of them don't realize, and I'm not saying all, but a few,
Right.
when they're first getting into the industry, that they don't realize that the writing part is the easiest part because,
Yeah.
well, I don't say the easiest part, but it's the first part.
The first part,
But
yeah.
then the whole other machine of marketing and promoting and keeping it relevant, and then campaigning for reviews if you need. And then some authors
Yeah.
say, oh, we don't need reviews, but I'm like, yeah,
Yes,
you
you
do.
do. Yeah.
You do. So they don't realize that's a whole other cookie to
Yeah.
just publishing a book. And that's amazing in itself because
Oh
some
yeah.
of us don't. We're just here to observe. But, you know, getting out there and keeping relationships with your audience, keeping building relationships with book reviewers and, other literary platforms, all that
It's
goes
hard.
into making you not successful because success is something different to
Everybody.
everyone,
Oh yeah.
but it does help,
Oh yeah.
um, you know, get you
And
out there.
that's the hard part for me. I think I'm part introvert as well because and then I'm stubborn and prideful. I don't like to say, well, will you buy my book? But then that's the way, I
Yeah,
feel like my book should speak for itself, but I'm like, how can it speak if they don't read it? And
right.
then, and then people's always saying, well, you need to go on social media. That's the only reason why I have social media is to try to
Yeah,
push my book. But I'm not interested in it enough to keep going. And
yeah.
I try to stay focused on that. Like my husband's like, okay, let's get a TikTok and then you can read on
Mhm.
TikTok. And I'm like, oh, one more social media platform. I'd rather go out, before COVID, I would go to places like when I go
Yeah.
here, I'm a tattoo freak. I like
Mhm.
tattoos. I like piercings. So
Yeah.
when I go to like tattoo places or grocery stores, I'm handing out bookmarks. I'm talking to people. I'm telling them about my book. I had one of my tattoo artists, yeah, you could call it. But one of my tattoo artists, a guy did tattoo for me. I gave him a book as a tip.
Yeah.
Like I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna tip you
Yeah.
my book. And he started this read a book, see a book Friday at the tattoo shop where they would people
Oh,
that would come in, he would have them read an insert from my book. And one day I was like, I'm gonna go up there with a box of books. And I
hmm,
ordered a box of books and went up there and I sold the books in the box and still had
wow.
people inboxing me like, where can we get copies? When you'll have more? Because everybody
Wow.
wants a signed copy. That was like me to like a book event. And it
And
was
it is,
great.
especially, yeah, that
Yeah.
cold, I said cold sale, but you putting in the actual
Yeah.
legwork, the footwork to sell, that's the
Absolutely.
other facet to it. It's not just social media. Social media is great.
It's
It's a
great, yeah.
huge beast that can be very, very, a
Misleading.
positive experience.
Yeah.
But
It could be a
it's
negative
not
one
the
too,
end of it.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not the end of it. I don't necessarily, because people don't really see me on my social media, like my
Social media.
face.
Yeah.
I don't mind
Yeah.
posting on there. But I'm doing other stuff behind the scenes too
Yeah.
that's
That's
not on
what I want
social
to
media,
do. Yeah.
and people don't know. So when they finally talk and say, oh, well, you do this, and I'm like, oh, well, no, I do that already. Or this is what
Yeah.
I'm doing, and then they find out, oh, you know what? We might be able to help each other.
Right.
But you only
That's
know
a
until you
beautiful
can
way to
actually.
network.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's the only way you can find it is if you can network together. And engagement on social media is important too, but it's not the only way to network with people.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
not. I
So
like being out and about. I've missed book events. I
yeah.
miss being able to go in the mall. And now people don't want you to come close to them, which I understand.
Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah.
like, talk to me. Let me tell you about my book. I have shirts, like ask me about my book shirts. I got all
Yeah.
pictures of my books on shirts. Come look, I will give you a shirt. Just
Yeah.
read my book. Let me tell you about I give away more books than I sell, I think.
And that's okay to
Oh
build
yeah.
up your brand. I think that's okay to
Absolutely.
build up your brand. And
Yeah.
that which leads me to my next question was, how is the current climate? Like, how is it affecting your creativity? Like, not just with COVID, but with like the racial climate and what's going on with the schools and the vaccines and things like that. Have any of those played into your um, creativity in a negative or positive way?
Um I wouldn't say no. Maybe the stress of all the things that are going on has
Hmm.
kind of gave me writer's block a little bit. I
Yeah.
try to have I try to write things that are positive. I'm not gonna lie, I got killing in some of my books, but
Yeah.
a lot of my stuff is erotic,
Yeah.
sexual, and then I'm trying to jump
It
in.
is.
I'm
And we
trying to
enjoy it.
I'm trying to jump into like something different and not just be known because most people inbox me. They don't leave a review. They'll inbox me or they'll
Yeah.
DM me and they'll be like, "Oh my God, you did this and did that." And I had one lady say, "You saved my marriage with your books." And I was like, "Whoa." I
Wow.
was like, "Whoa." So
Wow.
that was like
That's
okay.
huge.
But I think people get married and they lose that intimacy level.
Yeah.
And me, I went the totally different way. I felt like I had sex before I was married, and I
Hmm.
had a son before I met my husband.
Hmm.
And I told there were things, oh God, I don't know if it's too personal. There were things that I wouldn't do with a boyfriend that I do with my husband, if
As it
that makes
should be.
sense.
As it
So
should be.
I told my husband, I said, once we get married, just
It's
be
on. It's
prepared.
on like popcorn.
Because that girlfriend Brandie is not the wife Brandie. So he's like, so I don't understand how people lose that momentum, but then I
Yeah.
understand because you get caught up with life. We all trying to
Yeah.
hustle. We all trying to make,
Yeah.
get this money. And my husband's on the road, he drives trucks. So,
Mm.
but when he gets
Okay.
home,
It's
baby.
on. Mm. What did you say?
So
Baby number 4?
yeah, oh no, mommy is fixed. No more babies over here.
Look, it's a playground now.
Yes, it's a playground. Yes, an ice
I
cream
love
shop.
it.
Come
Yeah.
and eat as much as you want, get
I'm not
full,
mad
and
at
go
it.
home.
I'm not
Don't
mad
get no
at it.
pearls behind. Yes,
I am
but
not
no.
mad at it.
The only way that COVID is and stuff, the way that things are now have affected me is I can't go out as much as I want. I mean,
Yeah.
things in Texas are opening up, are pretty much open, but
Yeah.
still people are still real standoffish. They don't
Mm-hmm.
want, you can't approach them. And I haven't
Yeah.
seen any events going up like it was before that I can be a part of. Um, Everybody's, cautious about spending their money, which is understandable,
Yeah.
because you never know what's going to happen. Other
Yeah.
than that, no, I don't let too many things outside. I try to keep my kids sheltered,
Yeah.
unfortunately, but I still want them to be out in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But this world is scary.
It is. Yeah.
I
Have you
live
had to have
in,
those conversations with your son?
um, huh?
Have you had those real world conversations with your son? Like, what was
Yes.
that like?
Um,
Yeah.
for me, I like having those conversations with him because I want him to feel like that he can come to me for
Yeah.
anything. So we have a lot of those conversations. Now the conversation about girl boy stuff, I let dad handle that. Cause mommy's not ready for him to think like that. To me,
Yeah.
he's still my baby. But
Yeah.
he's learning how to drive now. So we've had the
Mhm.
cop talk.
Yeah.
We had the cautious talk about, I'd rather you, if it comes to a point where you feel like you're gonna get arrested. Mommy gonna always come get you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I said, don't argue, do what they say. Unfortunately, we have to tell that to our kids. Then
Yeah.
I used to work in mental health at one point in my life, and I know
Okay.
about like sexual abuse and stuff. So I
Yeah.
always talk to him about stuff like that.
Yeah.
He
That's
plays
good.
football. Yeah,
Yeah.
don't touch these girls if they say no,
Yeah.
and don't let them touch you. So
Right.
yeah. So
Exactly.
we've had a lot of talks, and we're in a neighborhood that's very mixed.
Mm-hmm.
We have like an even amount of like white and black neighbors. So I talked
Mm-hmm.
to him about that. You don't have to,
Yeah.
not like people, but stay out of people's way because mommy can get hood and mommy can be sophisticated. But
Yeah.
by her babies, she gets
Yeah.
ignorant.
Don't
So
play with the babies.
don't play with the babies. So
So, my last question before
okay.
I tell people they will be able to purchase your work in the
Okay.
links below or the link
Okay.
in the bio, do you
Okay.
feel like you're actively sitting in your purpose?
Not yet. No.
Okay.
Not yet.
Okay.
I think my purpose, believe it or not, is healing others.
Mhm.
My books maybe to a certain extent may be affecting people's lives. I have been told that they do in a positive manner,
Yeah.
and I know reading can sometimes be nurturing because it nurtures me when I read.
Yeah.
But I think I should have been a counselor.
Mm.
I would love to be something
I can see that.
like a nurse, and I love listening to people and talking to people. That's just
Yeah.
me, and I fix everything. I'm a fixer,
Yeah.
so that's me, and I think that's why God gave me kids.
Yeah.
So I have somebody to nurture.
Yeah. I can
But
see that though. I can see that.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's my purpose, healing and talking. So I'm halfway there, but I'm not
Yeah.
halfway there. And
We're working on it.
I'm
Yeah.
greedy too. I never get enough of. Once I meet one goal, I set one higher than the one before. Like I'm like,
Nothing
oh,
wrong with
I'm
that.
gonna write this book and I'm gonna get it done, and then I'm like, no, I'm gonna write another one. I'm gonna
Yeah.
write another, and now I got two in the works. So
Okay. We're
and
here
then
for it.
we were just talking about the movie. I'm like, oh, I want to make
Yeah.
my books a movie. So
Yeah. I'm here for it.
yes,
I'm here
ma'am.
for it.
So
Well, I appreciate you for taking the time out of your mommy schedule, your wife's schedule, your writer schedule, your creativity schedule to sit and talk with me for a few minutes.
absolutely.
We look forward to hearing and seeing more of you, hopefully maybe in I'm going to call you after this because I might,
Oh,
look, I just thought of something.
yes, ma'am.
So,
I receive it. Yes.
yes. But yes, thank you so much. And thank you guys for tuning in again with us. And we'll see you next time.
All
All
right.
right.
Thank you for
Bye.
having me. All right.